And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I understand that there have been audio issues the past couple of days. I just got to keep the microphone real close as if I'm in my studio back at home. Sometimes I get swaggy and get back here and try to, but I'm going to try to keep the microphone on my face today, okay? We're here as they're getting ready for tomorrow's practice here. What's this, the Cowboys day out, the thing that they do every year?
Yeah, it's kind of the opening. Yeah, it's kind of the opening day ceremony thing where they everybody, like the cheerleaders come, they perform, and then like the mayor of Oxnard hands Jerry like a jersey or a ball and says thank you for being here, and then we have practice. So yeah.
Okay, well, they're getting ready for that. Brian is down there on the tennis courts. I'm up here at the resort and casino at San Manuel.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
We just
So they
wanna
start paying you. You better,
Yeah,
They start paying you. I just kind of,
post it up at
Yeah. Maybe they will.
the resort and casino at San Manuel suite up here, elevated. Y'all can see it all behind me. Brian,
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a little preview of the next couple of days. The Cowboys are off today. They didn't have practice today, but I feel like this is a good time to give a good preview because these next 3 days are going to be the start of something very important. And we can kind of go through different groups and different individuals that we need to get more information when the pads come on, right? So they're going to be in shells and helmets tomorrow. Because I asked. They're going to be in shells and helmets tomorrow, so it's going to be a little more physical than just a T-shirt day. But Sunday and Monday are going to be padded days. Now, when pads come on, all this previous stuff, it goes out the window. If Donovan Ezaraku doesn't get any wins when the pads come on, him getting wins in T-shirts don't mean nothing. The same with Tyler Gayton and some of these other guys. So, Brian, of course, the trenches is where this thing matters the most. I just gave a couple names there. I'll elaborate on them, but what are you looking for when the pads come on, trenches wise?
Yeah, trenches wise, I think you got that covered. I mean, I want to be able to see if, in fact, and there's been some commitment to running the football here or trying to run the football. And a lot of it has been, we've talked about it, the power gap scheme. And I think this offensive line is really going to be as good as those three inside guys are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to really lean on Beebe, Booker, and Smith to be able to control the inside three for most defenses they play. They've got an athlete at left tackle that can cut off or scoop backside stuff, but they are going to try and bully people with their three inside guys and then find a way, if they have to use heavy tight end sets. Maybe it's Hunter Lipke. I think that's kind of where this team is going to try and run. And it really starts with the pads. Are you able to control those inside three, when you start to play? And for the most part, 2 of the 3 days, I feel like those guys have done a nice job. So we'll see how this all plays out when the pads come on. But man, the focus for me, Dallas has been able to offensively have been able to create seams and gaps behind those that center and those two guards. And I want to be able to see if they can continue to maintain that, getting guys up on the second level, securing those blocks along the line of scrimmage. And then are these backs where Sanders has done a nice job cutting, Blue's done a nice job of cutting, and also Vaughn. Can they get something going with the pads on?
That BB, Big Tyler, Booker interior, Brian. You are right, man. We're gonna live and die by that thing, and we've been seeing it the past couple of days. Like they've been getting the better of the interior defensive line. Like they're moving guys around in there, and maybe it's the first test is seeing what we do in pads, and then joint practice, and then preseason, and then when we get to the Eagles. So it's like steps that you got to take. But passing that test once we get pads on, that's gonna be so super pivotal and important, Brian Broaddus. And we have our expectations of, Tyler Booker. I think Booker's going to be the one where we kind of need him to verify that he's legit the most. Like I think we have a solid feeling about BB because he's been here before. Tyler Smith is a superstar offensive lineman. I think Booker will be fine, but we need to see it visually. We need to know. You can have a good day versus Osa with these shells on, but now Osa gets to really crash into you. I think
Exactly.
that's you know what, Brian, that's probably going to be the most important matchup. I've been keeping eyes on Guyton and Ezaraku this whole time. I think keeping eyes on anybody that Booker's going against when it's full speed pads. I think that's going to be the matchup that I really focus on.
Yeah, and I'll focus on another matchup as well, Voch. And I like I say, I totally believe open this whole thing with the inside three. I'll be focused on the other side. You know, I've gone on record to saying I think that they're going to play lighter up front. I don't think I don't. You might see a traditional one technique nose, but I don't know if they'll have the size to be able to do this unless one of these guys, one of these rookies, step up. I think they're going to kind of be in that mode right now where they might be a little lighter up front. If that's the case, can these linebackers then hold up?
Mm-hmm.
Can Murray, can Sanborn? The one thing that you watch when Jack Sanborn plays for the Chicago Bears is he avoids blocks and he makes tackles. That's what he does. I will be focused on inside three offensive line, but I'll also be focused on that linebacking core, and whether it's Sanborn, Maris Leofau, even Damone Clark in 3 days has put himself back in the picture of being a consideration for making this football team. I will focus on those guys. There is going to be a big time battle when they try and run the football. And I mean, a battle in a way, can Dallas hold up with their inside three, and can Dallas control the game with their inside three on their offensive line? That is going to tell you a lot about this football team going forward. And I like how you mentioned it. It's going to come in layers, and there's going to be these padded practices, and then there's going to be some work against the Rams, and then hopefully we'll get some work in the preseason and then into the regular season. But I think it starts here really on Sunday when they go put those pads on.
You mentioned the linebackers, Brian Broaddus. I said this earlier on the Will Steele Morning Show. Shouts out to Skywalker Unleashed over there. Every drill that we saw an individual that the offensive linemen were running, they were super focused on getting hands on linebacker as well. So
they were absolutely.
When you're running these duos and these combo blocks, dealing with the double team is important. But we've seen, like with Broaddus and Connor McGovern, if you can't seal that linebacker, then the rest of the blocks really don't matter. So it's gonna be good to see those guys really move with a bunch of emphasis and really start thumping on those linebackers and really punishing. I really want to see that. Like, let's be physical here, punish the linebackers. And I think if you have an offensive lineman that can punish linebackers, then now your run game has some longevity because now you get to wear guys down. You know what I mean? Like not just pushing D linemen around. So with pads on, you kind of get to figure out what the identity is. Terrence Steele won't be here, so some of these backup tackles, they're going to be getting a lot of work. Austin Richards he's a left-sided player, but it's going to be like still they're going to be getting involved.
Right? Yeah,
they're going to be getting involved.
Yeah.
So even for these backup tackles, Austin Richards is still battling Nate Thomas. You know what I mean? So the best way to separate yourself is to go out there with pads on and kind of deal with that. Brian, let me just ask you this. As far as tackles go, I don't think they're going to be doing swing stuff. I think they're doing sighted player
I don't think
stuff.
so either.
I think so. So Brock Hoffman is the only swing player. He's the interior left guard, right guard, center guy. But as far as Austin Richards, left guard, left tackle. Nate Thomas, left guard, left tackle. Johnny Cornelius played right tackle in Oregon, but he was drafted and he was presented as a guard. He's been playing tackle out here as well. So even with Let's Go playing some guard now, but you know what that means with his tall ass playing guard. It's over with for him. I think that's where the competition's moving now, Brian. So can you talk about these sided players, some of these backup sided players?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. And we were going into this believing that there was going to be swing tackles and swing guards and those things. And at least through the first 3 days, that has not materialized at all. When I had the opportunity to watch practice for the mini camp before the break, it was Thomas was the backup right tackle. And then when, with a high ankle sprain, We'll see how long that really takes. Steele out. Steele is a tough guy. Hopefully he'll fight through it. They're thinking that everything is going to be okay, but this will give some opportunity for some other guys. And Thomas was the backup right tackle, and that hasn't been the case. When they went to it yesterday, it was the veteran Adenije was the guy that was the participant there. So to me, that's not okay. Well, let's take Awesome Richards, who could play guard and tackle, and just put him over there. No, they went. They're really very much set on right side, left side players.
Yeah. We're definitely going to be keeping eyes on all that, Brian Bros. If we can go to the D
What do you
line,
think about that? What do you
sorry,
think about that? What do you think about? I mean,
sure.
I've always again, I was a fan of position flexibility
Mm-hmm.
until position flexibility showed me that the guys that were doing too much and they weren't learning any position.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think it's cool that an offensive lineman can play guard, play tackle, play. So I think it's cool, but maybe this is the right way to go with this particular offensive line. Maybe
So
it's like
yeah.
the way of listen, you're a right side player. Think yourself as a right side player. Go be a right side player.
So left guard, left tackle is having flex. Left tackle and
Yeah.
right tackle is also having flex. So it's still those guys being flexible. It's just that I think as offensive linemen, I think this is an administrative call, and I think they want to cut down on the dexterity struggle, if that makes sense. Um, it's easier to go from guard to tackle than to go left side anything to right side anything, because now your handedness changes, your techniques changes, and all this kind of stuff. At guard, the technique is similar to it is at tackle. It's just a little faster because you're on the inside and everything happens a little faster. At tackle, you're more so on this island, but at the end of the day, it's not like you got to switch hands and switch feet and switch steps, which is probably why Hoffman's cool doing both sides, because if you're a center, you got to be able to slide to the right, you got to be able to slide to the left. You know what I mean? So that might be why Hoffman can get away with it. But I don't mind the sided player. For one, what it's going to do is it's going to make you have to carry extra offensive linemen. So when we're doing roster stuff, we're going to have to consider that. It's not just one swing tackle. It's a backup left guy and a backup right guy. But I don't mind the idea at all, because it probably came from them being able to see Tyler Smith be able to go from left guard to right tackle pretty easily, right? Because even BB, like BB plays center like he plays guard. There was a while where Tyler Smith played tackle like he's playing guard. You know what I mean? That's easier than some of the sided stuff. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. What about the D line, Brian Broaddus? I think the edges are gonna show up and have a party and start whooping feet. So I'm not too worried about that. This I would love for Micah to get his contract by Sunday, so that Tyler Guyton can get a full dose of working with Micah when pads come on. But I think we really have to figure out what we got in Toia and Mozzie and anybody else that's going to be doing A-gap stuff. Perryon Winfrey playing, is playing A-gap, even though he's smaller. And Solomon Thomas was the first A-gap guy out there, which kind of makes me nervous. Brian, what do you think about the interior D-line stuff, the A-gap players? What do you think about those guys and what we're looking for with them when the pass come on?
Yeah, they don't have size. I mean, they have a couple of players that are young players. One is 312 pounds, and the other is a bigger guy. When you talk about JT, I mean, 340 pounds. I mean, that's really what they're working with right now. It's not, they're not. It doesn't look like to me that they're not committed to Mozzie Smith being the one technique guy. Hell, they're playing him at 1. They're playing him at 3. So to me, I feel like that they're going to try and probably be a little bit smaller. And I think it's probably going to have to be at a necessity. And I don't think they're going to be able to play, nose to nose and shoe to shoe with anybody that way. They're going to have to play on the move. And the examples I give, and I live this myself, when Mike Zimmer was here, when he was playing with Leroy Glover and he was playing with Dexter Coakley and he was playing with Dat Wynn, they were a smaller group. They were a top 10 defense, but they did not play toe to toe with anybody. I think Matt Eberflus, and there's people that have been commenting, when I posted something on the Crown Global Media page that I feel like that they're not going to really have maybe a true one technique. Then there were people like, well, they've always kind of been small that way. And, to a point, yeah, you're right. But this is going to be about if I think right now there's going to be small and play that way until somebody proves that they can handle that spot, or they might have to go get somebody. But that doesn't seem to me that they're in any kind of rush to go make that happen. So I would just be ready for a couple of rookies to get the opportunity. And then, if Mozzie Smith gets some work over there, then that's probably what's going to happen. But it doesn't seem like to me that they're in any hurry right now to make that happen.
Are the pads going to affect the Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo battle at all? Like, does it matter with those guys what happens when the pads come on? I mean, them as blockers, even though I think Mingo wins that battle, just in general. But does anything change with them? The wide receivers?
No. The group that's going to change a little bit, I think, is the tight ends, because to me, Spanford is the guy that everybody kind of looks at because of his size, but can Luke Schoonmaker make up some ground? And all three of the tight ends, we've been very, very adamant about this. All three of the tight ends have played well. They've played well, but is Luke Schoonmaker is he behind right now? Yeah, he probably is. But can he make up for it with some of his point of attack stuff? If we get in there in 12 personnel, then all of a sudden, we see Spanford is the guy that's really securing the edge and all that. Luke Schoonmaker is going to have a hard row to hoe. But I think that if all three of those guys, and Fergie blocks well enough, I'm not going to say it's great, but he blocks well enough. But it's going to be a battle between Spanford and Schoonmaker for that second spot. Right now, just catching the football, Spanford has been ahead of Schoonmaker. We'll see if the blocking flips the script for that.
You don't think there's a case to be made that Schoonmaker can possibly come in as a much improved blocker or anything like that, and it's crazy because Schoonmaker made his money as a blocking tight end first that could develop into a pass catcher. When you see Schoonmaker now, Brian, it's like he's lost some weight a little bit. It's like he's focused on the receiving side, but I wonder if that's taken away from what he was like as a blocking guy. Spanford ain't never got to worry about a size issue because Spanford ain't really a fat guy, but he's still 270.
Yeah.
Schoonmaker lost weight. You know what I mean? That means something. So, Brian, is there this world where Luke Schoonmaker can come in and possibly be a better blocker than Spanford, or has he put?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, there's absolutely possibility of that. The thing that we have not seen. Okay, we've seen some plays that have bounced outside. We've seen some RPOs that have bounced outside and have run been some nice runs. But their best runs have been inside runs. Their best runs. And with the pads coming on, and if that ball goes to the edge, you're going to see which one of these tight ends can block. Because that'll be tight end over there. That likely be Hunter Lipke over there. That'll be some type of tackle. They're going to try and see if they can secure edges and get some movement over there. But yeah, but primarily the ball has been run to the inside. If they're going to run to the outside, we're going to see it in pads. And it's going to be one of those tight ends. And yes, Luke Schoonmaker, even with maybe a little bit more reduction of weight or a little weight off his body, he looks a little bit more agile the way he's running routes and stuff like that. So yeah, if he could get in and get some blocks and show that he can handle some point of attack blocking, hell, it might be save Ferguson a little bit. And if you're going to go some 12 personnel stuff, think about maybe Spanford and maybe about Schoonmaker doing that if you're interested in running the football instead of wear and tear on Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, I mean, besides that, Brian Broaddus, my last point for the day is the defense, consistently still getting balls out. They're going to be able to tackle a little bit now. I mean, so when pads come on, they're still going to try to thump and not go too crazy, right? But
Yeah, you
there's
don't
gonna
go
be
to the
tackle.
ground. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
go to the ground. No to the
Okay.
ground. Yeah, and they
Okay.
might have a live goal line period, and that might come during the week. Maybe they in the past we've had some of that where it's a kind of a 4 or 5 play deal where there's some thumping going on and you're
Mhm.
trying to get the back to the ground. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of get over there and tag off. But you'll have an idea if holes open up, you'll see it, and those linebackers will thump up, wrap up, and hold on until the whistle blows and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be the pads always help. You always get a better idea of really how physical your team can be coming off the football in those full pads.
Hopefully, we'll get some one-on-ones around here, Brian. I appreciate you for tapping in with me, sir, on this off day that we have. When the pads come on Sunday, we're gonna still do our Saturday show. We're gonna give you a fantastic show. We're gonna be a little ungrateful because we
Yeah.
want Saturday to be a pad, like a padded practice too. But we'll still give you some good evaluation on shells and helmets. But Sunday and Monday, those are your pad days, so those are gonna be your padded podcasts. All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you so much, Brian Broaddus. I can't wait to
Thank you, sir.
get to those days, and I appreciate all of y'all for tapping in with all the episodes that we do. All right, y'all follow me at VOCHLOMBARDI, and that's BRYN Broaddus on social media. All right, shouts out to Crown Global Media. We're gonna be getting that thing out real soon. So y'all be ready. All right, y'all hold it down. Until next time, we love y'all to pieces. Crown.